So my first rule is that Facebook's not your friend. There are a lot of myths that take off on social media immediately after elections. It's important to remember that a lot of times those ideas are worth exploring, but they may not necessarily be what the data is telling us or what an analysis would tell us. So I treat those more as hypotheses to be tested rather than things that are definitely absolutely true.